Yeah, good morning to one and all. This is Naveen Kumar Sriramoju. So, in this class, we will be talking about a very new topic and a very important topic. And this topic will be used in each and every program you write in C. So, learning this topic is very important for us to learn the programming language called as C. And the topic name is functions in C. So, we will be talking about this topic in detail before starting writing your first program. For that, what I will do is I will be importing a document so that you can easily understand the various topics that are included in functions concept and the definition of functions. So in every programming language, there are certain functions that are to be used, and this functions concept is most important, and these functions are defining the exact major portion of C programming. And the definition is like this: a function is a subprogram that perform a specific task. The definition is very simple here. The definition is a function is a subprogram that perform a specific task. So here task is also called as a job or a work or an operation. So in C programming, if at all you want to perform any small task, any small work, we will be taking the help of the concept called as function. We will be taking the help of the subprogram called as function. So this is all about the definition of functions in C. Now what we will do is, whenever we are writing some program, I have told you, like, every program will be having the concept of functions, and this takes the major share in programming code. So you have to identify which is a function and which is not a function. So there are certain rules to be followed when we want to identify a particular word as a function. So there are many rules to be followed, but there is only one rule through which you can easily identify that this word is said to be a function. We can say that this word is not said to be a function. So we will be seeing some examples here, and we will be seeing some real-time functions which are used in programming code for developing the code, right? Now I'm going to talk about the identifying process of a function. Whenever you are writing some code, I said that we have used these many functions in this program. I have used 4 functions in this program. So what is the basic criteria of identifying a particular word as a function? That means we have only one criteria. The criteria is every word. Here I am writing here. The criteria is every word which is supposed to be said as a function is followed by an open bracket and closed bracket. It's very simple here. Every word which is said to be which is said to be said to be a function will be followed by will be followed by two things. Simple, two things. The first one is called as open bracket. The second one is called as the closed bracket. I will be telling you some examples of this also, and you have to identify here is that these brackets are the general terms we use for easiest understanding, but in computer terminology we call them as the parenthesis, right? So we call them as the parenthesis. Now if at all I take the definition, The definition is like this: every word which is said to be a function will be followed by an open parenthesis and an closed parenthesis. This is all about the process of identifying a function. Now let me take some examples here. What all I take an example? Examples are like this. I'll take some examples here. Examples are like this. I have told you in the previous classes, and now also I am telling you, like whenever you are trying to write some program in C language, we will be using the most common word called as main, and this main is said to be a function. Why? Because it is been followed by an open parenthesis and an closed parenthesis. So this is how you have to identify that this is a function, is a function, right? So in this way, every word which is said to be followed by an open parenthesis and with an closed parenthesis, then it is called as a function. So now what we'll do is we will be talking about the classification of functions in detail. Now what we'll do is we will be seeing the exact classification of functions. So whenever you are seeing about the classification of functions, functions are classified into two types. Basically, the first one is called as the input function. The first one is called as the input function. The second one is called as the output function. Output function. So this is the very basic classification of functions in C. Later on, whenever we are going into depth of C programming, we will be seeing different types of functions such as user defined functions and built-in functions. But as of now, you just keep in mind that we have two types of functions. One is called as the input functions and second one is called as the output functions. Now what we will do is we will be talking about how we can identify a function as a output function and how we are going to implement an output function. Then the similar is done in the concept of, in the case of input functions, like what functions are said to be input functions and what are the things you are taken into consideration when you are implementing an input function. So whenever we are developing some code, so we have to give some data and we will be giving some data using the medium of a keyboard. So whatever the data we give using the medium of a keyboard is called as input data. Why? Because keyboard is a input device, the basic thing here. So you have to give some data here. You have to give some data here. This is point number 1 to be noted. So whenever you are trying to give some data here, so what you will do is you will be using some medium. You will be using some medium and this medium is called as the keyboard. This medium is called as the keyboard, and whenever we are talking about keyboard, then we can call it as the input device. This is called as the input device, and which makes us the task simpler. Like whenever we are giving some data using the input device, then it is called as the input data. Then it is called as the input data. All right. So for giving the input data, we should use a function, and that function is called as input function. So I am writing here, for giving the input data, we use a function called as input function. We use a function called as input function. Now we will be talking about the input function. So whenever you are talking about C programming language, so the input function is scanf. Input function is scanf. So you have to write like this, and every statement will be ending with a semicolon. So this is a statement and it should be ending with a semicolon. So this is the basic understanding, but if at all you elaborate it, the input functions syntax, the syntax is like this. Syntax for input function is scanf format specifiers and variable list right. So this is how you have to understand the syntax of input function. So whenever you're writing some input function, you have to follow only this defined set of syntax to implement the input function. Scanf format specifiers variable list. Now we have got some idea of what is an input function. Now we'll be going into the next concept called as output function, and it is like this. So now that we are aware of what is the input function and how we are going to implement the input function, so that we will be having some base idea. So whenever the data is being given by the user as input, then it will be processed and it will be given as output. So the question is, what is an input function? So the description is like this. So whenever input data is given into the computer, then it is said to be processed, and it is given as the output. So this output is given using a function called as output function. See here, once you have understood what is input function, it is easier for us to understand what is an output function. So whenever you have given some input data, that data will be processed, and this processed data will be given as output using a monitor. Why? Because monitor is a output device. So whenever you want to display some output data, then you have to use some function here, and that specified function is called as output function. So now what we will do is, we will be talking about how this has been implemented, and whenever you are trying to implement something, you have to use the concept called as syntax. So syntax for output data is like this. Syntax is like this. Printf. So for our basic convenience or for basic understanding, I have written like this, that the output function is printf function, but if at all you write that in full, it will be like this. Printf format specifiers, right, and variable list. So this is how you have to implement the concept of output function. Now once you have completed the concept of input function and output function, I will be showing you that one thing is very common in both the function syntaxes, and the syntax, if at all you check for input function and output function, that is like this. See here, once you see this, if at all you see the syntax of input function and output function, for input function we are using the word scanf, and for output function we are using the word printf. That is the only difference, but here the rest of the things are same. So in input function we are mentioning the format specifiers, and in output function also we are mentioning the format specifiers. Now if at all you want to understand it more clearly, you have to understand about the concept of format specifiers. So we'll be going into the concept called as format specifiers now. Now we'll be talking about the concept called as format specifiers. So basically, format specifiers are also termed with different terminology. I will be writing like this. Format specifiers are also called as format strings. Format strings. This is the point number 1. You have to understand that format specifiers are also called as format strings. Now we have to understand the duty of format specifiers. So whenever we are talking about the concept of data types in the previous class, I have told you that we have the availability of different data types like character data type, integer data type, float data type, double data type. So whenever you are declaring some functions, the duty of this format specifiers is to control the format of, or we can say this, the duty of the format specifiers is to identify the format of a particular variable. So format specifiers will be doing this, will be identifying the format of a declared variable. So here you have to understand, like whenever you want to use some variables, you have to declare them, and whenever we are declaring some variables, we will be specifying that this variable will be belonging to this data type, this variable will be belonging to this data type. So here the duty of the format specifiers will be to identify the format of a particular variable that is declared. So we will be using this format specifiers in both input functions and in output functions also. So for our basic understanding, we will be seeing the very frequently used format specifiers. So this is like this. Whenever we are declaring a character variable, then the format specifier will be %c. Identify this. Whenever we are declaring a character variable, the format specifier will be %c. So whenever we are declaring a integer variable, then the format specifier will be %d, right? And whenever we are declaring a float variable, the format specifier will be %f. So this is all about the basic format specifiers that are being frequently used in writing the programs. Although we are discussing only 3 format specifiers here, we are having some more format specifiers which will be discussed only if they are being used in the programming code. As of now, you just identify that we have only 3 format specifiers that are being frequently used. One is character in format specifier, the second one is integer format specifier, the third one is float format specifier. So this is all about today's class. Hope you have understood. So in the next class, we will be trying to write a very basic program and we will be trying to execute it. Thank you.